It is week 12 of PFR on Lakeshore Public Television. Tonight we get you ready for a big night of high school football. They hand out trophies tomorrow night with our sectional championship round.
Had a good round last week, good games we had there, and now the cream starts to rise to the top.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll have all the previews. Look back at week 11 coming up next on PFR.
Who is the dark afraid of? His name is Tim. When you report a power outage, Tim and linemen like him respond to the call. Text OUT to 444-111 to report an outage. With your cell phone, when the power is out, power is still in your hands. Support for PFR and PFR Scoreboard is provided by Geminis, partnering for the future.
It is PFR Week 12 on Lakeshore Public Television. As we get you ready, let's look back at Week 11. What stood out last Friday night here, Wayne?
Well, I think that Maryville played one heck of a game.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough to lose your quarterback. Cameron Jackson came in and has done an excellent job for Maryville. And they were able to stop Portage. You know, Anthony Macheo is just outstanding for Portage, but they were able to come up defensively with stops and won the ball game.
I really think, too, New Prairie looked good, getting ready for tomorrow night, a huge game against Hobart. The Brickies looking for that elusive sectional championship that they haven't had in quite a few years. And it won't be easy, but it looks like it would be an outstanding game tomorrow with Hobart and New Prairie. And Lowell's momentum just continues to build.
Oh, yeah. You know, Lowell's playing very, very well right now. Their offense is clicking. Jumonville's played well all year long. And the idea of not turning the ball over and making silly penalties has really boded well for them.
Yeah. All right, let's take the video look back at Week 11, sectional semifinal week, with this week's PFR Rewind. We get rolling, look back at Week 11's Players of the Week. Let's start, as we always do, with our PFR Offensive Players of the Week.
first name is a man that we have not really mentioned very much this
No.
year from New Prairie. Nick Wilson has done an outstanding
Yeah.
job running Coach Radke's offense. 3 touchdowns versus Andrean, and boy, they, like you said, they were rolling.
They look pretty good against the Andrean team that's been getting better. And we'll see. They'll be matched up with Jared Zanola and the rest of the Bricks. Zanola, 3 TDs versus KV, as Hobart is going to continue to hopefully roll for them coming up tomorrow night.
You know, we've been talking about Mickey Wolf. We've been talking about, Brandon James, I guess.
Yeah, Nick
and, but Zanola has really played very well.
They've got some
with that.
options.
Yes,
on
they
offense,
do.
Which that makes
Nick
it
Ray,
difficult.
we've talked
Yeah,
about.
it gives them some weapons, and so you really can't key on one thing. Trevor Sprobnik of Lowell, he's continuing to roll, 3
Boy,
TDs.
He's had a great season, hasn't
Yeah.
he? 3 TDs against Morton, and Lowell has just hit their stride. You could just see the momentum.
Peaking
He's
at the
building
right
and
time.
building.
Stuart Glasgow of Whiting had a nice game and a big win over North Newton as they get ready for Knox.
Yeah, 3 TDs against North Newton. North Newton had an excellent defense, and this young man played very well.
How about some defensive players of the week, Wayne? There we go. Number 7.
Number 7, that's right. That's right.
Number 7's in the house tonight, and number 7's one of our defensive players of the week.
We'll show that in a minute here. Yeah, Brandon James of Hobart, 2 interceptions versus KV. And I put Maryville's special teams here, blocked a punt and a field goal attempt. That is one heck of a defensive effort, and that was probably one of the
huge.
factors.
It was huge. We saw the block punt. It
Yes.
was huge for Maryville early in that game against Portage on the special teams. So Brandon's going to double up.
Yes, this is the
Special
first
teams
here,
players
Joe.
of the week.
This is it.
Joe
Joe gets a hat
I
from
was getting-
Brandon. I don't get any. Thanks, Brandon.
I was getting some messages earlier this year, and I requested the number 7
yeah?
hat, and I was waiting. I think I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. I was waiting for my number 7 hat has arrived.
It has.
Just
it
in
has.
time for the sectional championship.
Well, we'll
I might
see if
let
it
you-
helps
I
you
might
with the
let
picks.
you wear that once.
Let's see if it helps with the picks. Okay, then the special teams player, Brandon James, doubling up here.
Yeah.
It's tough to put all this stuff in for James. He had 3 TDs, of 184-yard kickoff return, a 68-yard punt return, and he had a regular
receiving touchdown from Mickey
receiving
Wolf.
touchdown. Brandon James had a special night for special teams.
He's had an outstanding year.
Yes, he has.
Part of that balanced offense that the Brickies have.
Cole Rainwater booting the heck out of it for Lake Central. 2 field goals of 44 and 28 yards. Unfortunately, they just didn't get enough to, more points for them. And Juan Villa from LaPorte, 45-yard field goal against.
He's had a solid year too. He's
Yes.
made some.
Chester.
Their offense really hasn't needed field goals much, but he has made some when
That's
called.
right. That's right. That's right.
They usually get in the end zone.
Okay, so with the unknowns this week, we know about Stanley from Munster. We know about Jumonville. We know about Jalen Scott. Who is
Dylan
Dylan Bullock?
Bullock.
And obviously he had one heck of a game against
Yeah.
Highland. 3 TDs for Munster.
Riley Torrance, never heard of him.
Yep, 1 TD versus Morton.
He's now famous.
Now famous. And right here, this young man, Ryan Bolda, comes off and plays his first game at quarterback in a sectional. He needs a huge win, and all he does is not make a mistake, not turn the ball over. Now, he didn't throw for touchdowns, but he controlled the offense for Crown Point. Kudos for that young man.
It's going to be the battle of new quarterbacks.
Yes, it
with
is.
Crown Point and Maryville.
Yes, it is.
Tomorrow night. So that'll be something. That's our game of the night. We'll talk more in depth about that game here shortly. Time for the Little Five. It's going to be a big matchup with our number 1 team in the Little Five. Let's check out the poll.
All right, now you've been talking about this team all season
Yeah,
long.
they're coming.
They're coming 9-2. This is probably their best year in a long time. Knox,
Yeah.
and they've got a
Or
big
maybe
one.
ever. I don't
Yes, and they've got a big one.
They do.
A statement game.
They do. It's a barometer game.
That's
it's
right.
a statement game for them. And, Whiting doesn't want to think about the first statement game that another
Right.
team had against them this year.
Right.
Hanover Central kind of put it to them.
Yes, they did.
We'll see what Knox does here in the postseason. North Newton, number 2, had a great year, as did Rensselaer.
Yes, sir. And North Judson still in the
Wow.
game. Still in the
Up against
sectionals.
it, though, this week.
Yes, they are. And South Central had another very nice year,
Very good
7
year
and
for
4.
Coach Stevens and his squad. All right, how about the big boy poll, the top 10, the only poll that matters. Year first for Hanover, first conference title, first undefeated regular season, first sectional win. Great year for Coach
Yes, the
Koulianos.
kids played so very well, and Coach Koulianos did one heck of a job. Maryville and Crown Point are back in the poll because they're still
I
in
like
the
that.
sectional.
I like that. They're
both
playing.
5-5.
One of them's going to win a trophy
That's
tomorrow night.
right. Lowell, we talked about being on a roll right now. Griffith pulled out a big one at Rensselaer, and one is now 8-3. So Griffith's on a roll.
Big barometer game for them.
Yes,
tomorrow
it
night.
is. Whiting, 10-1, and they go 2 knocks, I believe.
Heavily
at
favored.
home. Holbert, 9-2. That is correct. Holbert, 9-2. Would you thought that at the beginning of the year?
Maybe not, but it's been a quiet 9-2
Yes.
for some reason.
Yes.
I don't understand
for
why.
some reason.
It's
you
been
know.
a quiet 9-2.
Maybe if you got the hat earlier.
Maybe if I'd have got the hat earlier, it'd been a louder note.
Yep,
Well,
that could
you know,
be.
but number 7 wants to peak at the right time.
Oh,
And
sure,
He peaked
that's
last
right,
week pretty
that's
well.
right.
And they're giving away the trophy tomorrow night, so they'll be ready tomorrow night. And
Kind of forgotten team at number 2 or 3, Joe, and that is New Prairie. They should have been in the poll earlier, and now they are playing a huge game this week. Michigan City still in it, 7-3, and the number 1 team, Joe, is
the Slicers
That's
still
right.
number 1, and
Still
deservedly so.
number 1.
So a great look at some games coming up. Our game of the night is coming up. It's a battle of 2 great rivals, Maryville and Crown Point, and our guy T-Dub was out. He'll have that coming up next on PFR.
For more information on everything Prep football, visit us on Facebook or on Twitter at PFR Sports.
And we welcome you to Maryville High School, where the Pirates are preparing for their matchup with Crown Point after a very big victory last weekend against the Portage Indians, thanks to their special teams. And we'll talk about that coming up in a few. Brad Cease, the coach of Maryville, joining us right now. And first off, let's talk about the win over Portage last week. Your special teams came through for you. Let's talk about how that turned the game around.
You know what? It was a really good team win for us. We had an extra week to prepare, and we saw some things that we liked in the kicking game, especially having the chance to block a punt. And we did a great job starting off. We kicked a touchback. Defense got a 3-and-out, and we blocked the opening punt for a safety, which really gave us a lot of momentum, and more importantly, kind of put us 2 points ahead and kind of put Portage behind the 8 ball a little bit.
What does it say about this football team that you lose your starting quarterback? You haven't had a consistent season, and yet here we are, sectional finals time, and you're still standing.
You know what? It's a testament to our kids. We've dealt with a lot of adversity this year with injuries and just things not going the way maybe we planned on. But you know, Cameron Jackson's come in and really led our offense. Our defense has done a good job, and you know, most importantly, we just kind of all bought in to the style of football that we've got to play.
You mentioned your quarterback, Cameron Jackson. You had to put him on fast forward. I get the feeling, considering how late it was in the season when your starting quarterback was injured. How has he adapted to this pressure of playoff football?
You know, he's done a really good job. You know, he's been thrown into a pretty tough position, and you know, we feel really good about the way he's you know, handled the change. Obviously, he's a pretty accomplished receiver, you know, coming into that. But you know, there's some things that he's good at that you know, that makes us difficult to defend, and some other things that you know, he doesn't do so well because, you know, he hasn't really played quarterback. But you know, Joe O'Connell, our quarterback coach and offensive coordinator, has done a really good job of putting him in positions to be successful, and our offense has gotten a lot better as Cameron's got more time.
Your next assignment, and you choose to accept it, obviously, is a matchup against one of the best defenses in Northwest Indiana here against Crown Point.
Yeah, Crown Point, you know, they're very physical. They're well coached. They tackle really well. You know, their defense is very accomplished. So, you know, we know our offense has got, you know, has got their hands full with what they do. But again, you know, it's going to be a total team effort, you know, putting together, you know, offense, defense, and the kicking game. And, you know, we're looking to come on top on Friday.
Congratulations on still playing football on Friday.
Thanks. You know, half the teams in 6A got eliminated, you know, last week. So there's only 16 left, and we're excited to be one of them.
Okay, we go from Merrillville to Crown Point for our next interview as we head out to CP to get their side of this big matchup coming up on Friday. Okay, it's time now to talk Bulldog football with the Crown Point Bulldogs taking on Merrillville Friday for a sectional championship, and the Crown Point coach, Kevin Enright, here to join us right now. And Coach, first off, that's one heck of a defense you have. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, you know, our defensive unit, they're playing very well. They've been consistent all year. It's a group that we've leaned on, you know, for our most part of the whole season. And it's something that, you know, it's a credit to those guys that they've been able to accomplish some of the things they've accomplished this year.
And, of course, they stepped up in your win against Lake Central on Friday. Let's talk about that game before we talk about what's coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, it was a great defensive effort. Very Lake Central, I could feel like they never got into a rhythm, and you know, that's a credit to the kids and you know, and the coaches over there that prepared them well enough to go out there and pretty much dominate that game defensively.
Now, let's talk about the other side of the ball, and of course, the big question coming up on Friday: Ryan Bolda or Grayson Link? Who's going to take snaps to begin the game for you at quarterback?
Ryan Bolda will do that.
Is Grayson healthy? Is he injured, or what happened?
Ryan Bolda will be our quarterback on Friday night.
In other words, it's none of my business.
If you want to interpret it that way, feel free.
How tough was it last week going with Bolda last week? His first varsity start in a sectional semifinal game. That had to really be nerve-wracking.
I'm sure he was nervous and anxious, but you know, Ryan's been practicing with us all year, and Ryan's been taking you know, several snaps throughout the season, and our playbook really didn't change going into that game. You know, and it's a credit to Ryan that he's prepared himself to, you know, step in a role like that, you know, on such short notice.
So how do you approach that Pirate offense?
Well, I think Merrillville just overall has tremendous speed on both sides of the football, offensively and defensively, and that's a challenge for us. And we're going to have to keep the football in front of us on defense and not let them get behind us. And hopefully they have to earn everything they get if they manage to cross the goal line. Obviously, it's a goal to shut people out, but we know that's not very realistic. It's just the goal. But with all that said, yeah, offensively they're explosive. And it's certainly a group that we don't take for granted, and that we're going to have to play extremely well and take care of the football for us to be successful Friday.
How confident are you that your offense can keep up with their offense if, in case we talk shootout again?
We don't want to talk shootout. So we're not even going to talk shootout, and we're just going to plan, go out there and play every down as hard as we can, and we'll see what happens.
Coach, looking forward to Friday. Congratulations on making it this far.
Thanks very much.
All righty, guys. Back to the studio with you guys. And, of course, for the final time this season, I have to ask, who you got in this game?
Journalism's not dead, Wayne. We asked
No,
the tough questions.
that's right. We
here
asked
at
the tough
PFR.
questions. That's
Way
right.
to go, Tommy. He was asking the tough questions. All right, let's check it out, Wayne. CP and Merrillville, our game of the night. I really think the fact that they both had weeks to prepare helps them. Maybe helps Merrillville a little. Their backup quarterback has more
Yes.
game experience
Right.
than Ryan Bolda. Cameron's got a little Jay Cutler in him. I don't know if that's good or bad. He likes to throw off that back foot.
Oh,
Although Jay Cutler looked pretty good
Yes, he
Monday
did,
night,
didn't he?
folks. Hello.
that's right. But I agree with you. But I think
That who's
go
your
ahead.
running back helped him off.
Oh yeah, you're darn right. Howard did. Howard was outstanding. But I really think that with Bolda getting his feet wet last week and not turning the ball over, not forcing anything. Sometimes kids will come in and think, "Oh my gosh, we're down 1 or 2. I've got to make the play, even though you haven't been playing all year." He let the game come to him, and I'm very impressed with that.
And he's right. Coach Enright's obviously right. They need a lower scoring game.
Right. Defense will win the game. Whoever wins we talked the trenches, and really at this time of the year, both lines are usually pretty good. It's going to be field position, and can Crown Point's defense continue to play that outstanding level?
Over 20 points is going to help Maryville, obviously.
Yes.
in this game.
Definitely. I totally agree.
Crown Point's going to have to use the play clock. They're going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to try to drain the clock a little bit and shorten the game.
Right.
I think.
Trying to get 6, in long passes, little dink passes to the outside, run the ball like you said.
You won't see them go and get into the hurry up.
No. No.
I don't think so.
Very
That'll
slow
be a
hurry
shock if that'll be breaking news if they get in the hurry up offense. Okay. Time now for the picks. It is the final Wayne's World of the year right here on PFR. All right, Wayne. It's time to preserve. We're in preserve time now. You have to pick. There you see the record.
There you
folks.
see him. See that?
You have to pick. You have to pick the local teams.
77.
I'm trying to get to the 50-50 mark. Okay, that's where I've got to be.
All right. You're a little off there at 45.
That's
but
right.
Okay.
But you left me some openings,
I did.
and I will go for them.
Merry Christmas. Okay. Here we go. First one is with the Class 6A we'll start with. And I think this is going to be a close game at
I hope
LaPorte.
so. I think so
And
too.
but I think Penn is a little bit stronger.
Go Slicers.
But hopefully, yes, the Slicers get that one.
Go Owen Streeter. Go Lawrence. Go Slicers. Fire up. Let's get it done tomorrow. Shock the world and knock off the Kingsmen.
Well, remember last week, I shocked the world and picked Munster over 2 weeks ago over East
That was
Chicago.
a good pick by you.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm taking Michigan City.
I like that.
And Phil Mason's potent offense. Kane Vesey, Hurt, a McAuliffe, the quarterback. I'm taking them over a very good Mishawaka team.
I like you stepping out like that, Wayne. I do. Let's see if there's any check marks there. The survey says. Oh,
Yes, there is.
there is one. What do you know? You got. I want Michigan City to win, obviously, but they've had a great season in Coach Mason's first year. Tremendous coaching job by him and his staff. But Mishawaka's just been there
Yeah, they have.
too many times.
Yes.
And they played a very tough game against Penn.
And it's at Mishawaka.
It's at Mishawaka.
Right.
And I need 2 victories to get to the 500 mark.
Okay.
On the check. Let's be brutally honest,
Yes.
Wayne. Okay. All right.
All right.
The 4A game.
The 4A game is Lowell and Munster at Munster now. Munster has played well the last couple of weeks. EC, defeating EC, and then last week on the road against Highland. But boy, I'm telling you, I am very impressed with Lowell and how they made their turn. And
I am.
really,
They're rolling right now.
and their quarterback, they have a quarterback. Ethan Agress has played well for
But
Lowell.
let's also point out, Munster has played their 2 cleanest games
Yes.
of the year the last 2 weeks.
That's right.
They've not turned it over. They've probably scaled back what they're doing. So that could be an outstanding ball game tomorrow night.
It really could. It really could.
All right, elsewhere.
I'm going with the Brickies. I know that New Prairie runs that offense that's difficult to defense. Nobody's heard of Nick Wilson, but I like right now
see.
the Brickies.
Let's see if there's any other check marks there.
What?
Oh my goodness.
He gets a hat and you pick against him?
You
What
gotta
is
like
that?
New Prairie.
Boy.
I am saving
Boy.
Coach Turley a pre-game speech tomorrow night. I have prepared his ball club to come out and play, and Seven's gonna have a
Boy,
big night.
anything to get over 50%. Ron.
That has nothing to do
All
with that. Go ahead. Okay.
All right, Class 3A. I like Mishawaka Marion. Griffiths had a great year, and Ben Efforts really coached well there. But Marion is tough. And Whiting and Knox is going to be another interesting. That is going to be another one.
You've disrespected Knox all year.
I have, and continuing.
You continue. Pioneer
And-
should be big over the Jays.
Big over the
Barometer
Jays.
game for them, and the
Yes.
5A game of the night.
I'm picking Crown Point over Maryville. Crown Point
You
over
are?
Maryville.
How did I miss that?
I don't know. You can take it if
Can
you
we
want.
go for the third check mark there?
All right,
I'm
we're
going
going.
third check. That could get me over 500.
That could. That very well could.
If I
but
get
it
the
won't.
distance- but it won't, okay.
No,
All right,
because
confident.
CP. I'm
All
with
right,
you, bud.
I got to go with the purple gang, okay?
All right.
We'll see tomorrow if Maryville can pull it off. I think Maryville might score that 21 or higher points to get it done. We'll see.
I can't hear that. I don't hear that.
I like that. All right, don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow night. We'll have all the highlights of all the big games live Friday, 10:30 on PFR Scoreboard right here on Lakeshore Public Television.
Congratulations, Cubbies.
Good night.
Who is the dark afraid of? His name is Tim. When you report a power outage, Tim and linemen like him respond to the call. Text OUT to 444-111 to report an outage. With your cell phone, when the power's out, power is still in your hands. Support for PFR and PFR Scoreboard is provided by Geminis, partnering for the future. Captioning for PFR and PFR Scoreboard is provided by Voice to Print Captioning, LLC. Wardrobe for PFR and PFR Scoreboard provided by Gosser Corporate Sales Incorporated. Custom embroidery, screen, and digital printing. Further support provided by Fahrenheit 212 Restaurant and Bar.